Here are some examples using the properties of exponents. We have x to the 4/9 times x to the 2/3. So by the product rule of exponents, when you multiply the same base, we add the exponents. So this is going to be x to the 4/9 plus 2/3. We keep the base, add the exponents. Now on the side, I'll show the work for the fraction. So we got 4/9 plus 2/3. The least common denominator here is going to be 9. So we want to rewrite each fraction using a denominator of 9. The first fraction stays the same. That'll be 4/9 because we already have a denominator of 9. But the second fraction, we need to multiply 3 times 3, so the 2 also gets multiplied by 3. And 2/3 is equivalent to 6/9, and we have a plus sign in the middle. So 4/9 plus 2/3, which is actually 6/9, we got 4 plus 6, so this gives you x to the 10/9. Okay, and then part B, we will save to do in class. Part C, we got x to the 2/3 raised to the 2/5 times x. So first off, the power rule tells, and you know what, I'm going to split this up here. Okay, so first off, the power rule tells us that if you have the same base but a power to a power, you multiply the two exponents together. So on the side here, I'm going to show the work. We got 2/3 times 2/5. In multiplication, you do not need a common denominator. Just multiply 2 times 2 is 4. 3 times 5 is 15. So this gives 2/3 times 2/5. This gives you x to the 4/15 times x to the first. And if there's no exponent, we assume that there's a 1 there. Now, when you multiply the same base by the product rule, we are going to add the exponents. So we got 4/15. And the 1, I'm going to write that as 1/1 because this is a fraction. I'm going to make 1/1 a fraction also. So I got 4/15 plus 1/1. Now my least common denominator is going to be 15. So my first fraction remains intact. It doesn't change since we already have a denominator of 1, or 15 rather. But the second one, we need to take the 1 and rewrite that using a denominator of 15. So I'm going to multiply both numerator and denominator by 15. So what do we get? We get 4 plus 15, which is going to be 19/15. Okay, and that's your final answer here. Letter D, we will save for class. Okay, letter E, we have x to the 3/4 divided by x. So here we are going to apply the quotient rule of exponents, which says if you divide the same base, that means you subtract the powers. So this is going to be x raised to the 3/4 minus, and the 1, I'm going to write that as 1/1. So on the side here, we have 3/4 minus 1/1. The 3/4 is going to remain intact. The 1/1, I'm going to write that using a denominator of 4. So I'm going to multiply these both by 4. And here's what I get. I'm going to get 1 times 4 is 4. 1 times 4 is also 4. And 3 minus 4, this gives me a negative 1/4. Okay? So 3/4 minus 1/1, this gives me x to the negative 1/4. But we know that we can't leave our fractions, or we can't leave our exponents negative. So remember that property that says that if we have x to the negative a, that equals to 1/x to the a. Okay, so we have a property that says x to the negative a equals to 1/x to the a. So in that case, we're going to rewrite this as 1/x to the 1/4. Okay, the next one we will save for class. And then I'm going to make a little separation here so we can separate the work from the answer. Okay, next we got x to the fourth over x to the ninth. This one should be kind of easy. You keep the same base, and because you're dividing, the quotient rule says we are going to subtract the exponents. So this gives you x to the negative fifth, and that equals to 1 over x to the fifth. Okay, letter H we will do in class. All right, letter I. First thing is we need to rewrite the fifth root of x to the fourth using a rational exponent. So this equals to x to the 4/5. The exponent is a 4 and the root is a 5. So this gives you x to the 4/5 divided by x cubed. That's step number 1. Step 2, because we are dividing the same base, we subtract the exponents. So this is going to be x to the 4 over 5 minus, and 3, I'm going to write that as 3 over 1. And remember, it's always the exponent of the numerator minus the exponent of the denominator. So we got 4/5 minus 3 over 1. Our least common denominator is going to be 5, so the 4/5 is going to stay intact. But for the 3 over 1, I'm going to multiply by 5, multiply by 5. This gives me 15 over 5. And then 4 minus 15, this gives me negative 11 over 5. So our answer here is going to be x raised to the power of negative 11 over 5. And because we can't leave our answer with a negative exponent, we're going to rewrite this as 1 over x to the 11 over 5. Okay, and then j, of course, we will also do in class.